You may be the most intelligent individual in the space and still be overlooked if you cannot articulate your worth. Communication serves as the connector between your identity and how the world perceives you. You'll never obtain the position, partnership, or recognition you desire if your expressions create confusion rather than connection. Exceptional communicators create exceptional lives because impact starts with precision. No individual is born an outstanding speaker. Most are simply fearful of expressing something incorrect. Those who advance are the ones who speak regardless, fail regardless, and grow regardless. What if enhanced communication could transform your existence? What if understanding how to articulate yourself clearly assisted you in developing deeper relationships, securing your ideal position, or finally speaking out without anxiety? What if the sole barrier between you and your next significant opportunity is how you converse, hear, and engage with individuals? Most of us communicate daily, but few pause to question, are we truly being comprehended? Or are we merely talking and wishing someone understands? Communication encompasses more than vocabulary. It's assurance, precision, and engagement. You don't require perfection. You simply need authenticity, honesty, and purpose. Chapter 1. Practice active listening in every conversation. Daily, most individuals navigate through existence feeling unacknowledged, misunderstood, and isolated from others. They converse, but nobody truly hears. They express themselves, but others are merely awaiting their opportunity to respond. If you've ever shared your deepest thoughts with someone and discovered they didn't grasp a single word you expressed, you understand precisely how exasperating that sensation is. You feel insignificant, you feel invisible, and then you cease attempting. But here's the reality. If you desire genuine relationships, genuine impact, and genuine development, you must begin by doing something most individuals never do. Listen with purpose. I mean truly listen, not merely to respond, not merely to fulfill an obligation, but to comprehend. That's the foundation of powerful communication. That's where transformation begins. Active listening isn't a technique or elaborate strategy. It's a daily practice. It's a method of demonstrating to the individual before you that they matter, that their words aren't floating in space. They're reaching someone who values them. Most individuals believe communication involves speaking better, but the reality is the most effective communicators are the finest listeners. Because when you listen with concentration, you can speak with accuracy. When you completely hear what others are expressing, you stop assuming. You stop presuming and you begin responding in a manner that connects. That's how trust develops. That's how influence starts. Listening begins with presence. And presence means setting everything else aside. No device in your grasp, no distractions pulling at your attention. Just two individuals in a moment, one speaking, one genuinely listening. That's uncommon these days, and that's why it's powerful. Most individuals have forgotten how to be present. They're in conversations, but mentally they're elsewhere. You cannot connect that way. If you're always partially engaged and partially absent, you'll never build strong relationships. You'll never understand what truly matters to individuals. You'll only hear surface words and you'll miss the deeper message underneath. Let me describe what active listening appears like. It means you provide your complete attention. It means you listen not just to the words, but to the tone, the feeling, the energy behind them. Individuals will tell you much more than what they express directly. If you're paying attention, listen to what they're emphasizing. Notice when their voice changes, when their body shifts, when their pace slows down. Those are the signals that matter. That's where the truth resides. You won't discover that if you're already planning your response while they're still talking. We must unlearn the habit of interruption. It's a sign that we're prioritizing our voice over theirs. Interrupting says, what I have to express is more important than what you're saying. And even if that's not what you intend, that's how it feels. Over time, that damages your relationships. Individuals start withdrawing. They stop opening up. They stop trusting you with their thoughts because they've learned you're not really there for them. Active listening rebuilds that trust. It tells the other individual, I'm here, I'm listening, I care. Now, this isn't simple, especially if you've gone years just waiting for your turn to talk. It takes effort to slow down, to silence the voice in your head that wants to jump in. But it's worthwhile because every time you do it, every time you give someone your complete attention, you're not just improving your communication. You're building something solid, something lasting. That's where your influence grows. Not in how loudly you speak, but in how deeply you hear. Practice this every single day. Don't wait for important meetings or special occasions. Do it in your daily conversations with your family, your colleagues, your friends. When someone talks to you, stop what you're doing. Face them. Look at them. Show them they matter and listen without rushing to judge, without rushing to fix, without rushing to respond. Just hear them. You'd be surprised how powerful that alone can be. And here's something else. Reflect what you hear, not to repeat like a parrot, but to show understanding. Say things like, so what you're expressing is, or, it sounds like you're feeling. This lets the other individual know that you received the message, that you're not just nodding but actually taking it in. This builds connection. It makes the conversation real, and it helps you respond in a way that actually fits what's being said, not what you thought was being said. You see, most misunderstandings come from poor listening. We assume, we guess, we jump to conclusions, and then we respond to something that wasn't even said. That's how confusion happens. That's how trust breaks. But when you practice active listening, you clear up all the fog. You stay with the facts. You understand what's being said and, more importantly, why it's being said. That's powerful. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are or how many words you know. If you don't listen well, your communication will always fall short, because individuals don't just want information. They want connection. They want to feel heard. And when you give them that, you stand out in your career, in your relationships, in your life. That's what individuals remember. That's what draws others to you. Not how loudly you speak, but how deeply you listen. This takes daily commitment. It's not something you turn on once and forget. It's a mindset, a posture, a discipline. And the more you practice, the sharper you get. You'll start noticing things you missed before. You'll catch the small details, the subtle emotions. You'll become more patient, more empathetic, more present. And that changes how individuals experience you. They'll start opening up more. They'll start trusting you more. They'll start coming to you. Not because you have all the answers, but because you're one of the few who truly listens. And as you grow in this, your confidence will rise. Because you'll stop fearing conversations. You'll stop worrying about what to say next. You'll start showing up with calm, with clarity, with strength. Because when you're listening well, your responses are sharper. Your words carry more weight. You don't need to say a lot. You just need to say what matters, and that only comes when you first listen. Chapter 2. Maintain eye contact to build instant connection. Many individuals experience a silent barrier in conversations without realizing why. They find themselves talking but feeling disconnected, as if the other individual is somewhere else entirely. This happens because communication is not just about the words we speak. It is about connection. And connection starts with something very simple yet incredibly powerful. Eye contact. When you look into someone's eyes, you are saying something far deeper than any words could express. You are showing attention, respect, and openness. Yet this simple act is often overlooked or avoided because it can feel uncomfortable or intimidating. The truth is, most individuals do not realize how much power they give away when they fail to look others in the eye. Eye contact is the doorway to trust. It is the spark that ignites understanding and the glue that holds conversations together. The moment you lock eyes with someone, a connection happens instantly. It is natural. It is human. Eyes reveal emotions, sincerity, and intentions. They show whether you are fully present or distracted. When you avoid eye contact, even subconsciously, you create a distance. The other individual senses this distance. They feel your hesitation, your nervousness, or your lack of interest. This creates a barrier that no words can easily break down. When you maintain eye contact, you build a bridge. You communicate courage and confidence without saying a word. You invite honesty and openness. You become someone worth listening to. Many individuals struggle with eye contact because of fear. Fear of judgment, fear of being vulnerable, fear of being caught off guard. But this fear fades away when you realize eye contact is not about staring or intimidating the other individual. It is about balance. It is about sharing a moment of genuine presence. When your eyes meet another's, you are telling them they matter. You are acknowledging their worth. This simple act makes conversations feel richer, fuller, and more meaningful. Eye contact allows you to read the room. It gives you clues about how the other individual is feeling. Their eyes can reveal hesitation, excitement, confusion, or agreement. If you pay close attention, you can adjust your message to meet their needs. This creates a dynamic interaction where both individuals feel heard and understood. Eye contact keeps you connected to the real emotion behind the words. It prevents conversations from becoming empty exchanges. This is what separates ordinary talks from powerful conversations. Building this skill requires practice and awareness. Start small by making eye contact with individuals you encounter daily, like cashiers or colleagues. Notice how it changes the interaction. Most times you will find the conversation becomes warmer and more engaging. It shows you respect the other individual. It also boosts your own confidence as you grow, comfortable with this essential skill. Over time, you will naturally maintain eye contact during longer and deeper conversations, strengthening your connection and influence. Eye contact also strengthens your message. When you speak while looking into someone's eyes, your words carry more weight. Individuals pay more attention because they feel your sincerity. Your voice becomes clearer and your expressions more genuine. This increases your credibility and persuasiveness. Individuals trust you because they can see your honesty reflected back in their eyes. This is a powerful form of communication that cannot be faked. The eyes reveal your true feelings, making your message authentic and compelling. In moments of disagreement or tension, eye contact plays a vital role. It shows you are engaged and willing to understand. It helps calm heated exchanges by reminding both parties that there is a human being behind the words. When you avoid eye contact during conflict, it creates suspicion and defensiveness. It feels like avoidance or disrespect. But when you maintain steady eye contact, you demonstrate courage and openness to resolve issues respectfully. This helps build stronger relationships even when opinions differ. There are cultural differences to consider with eye contact, but the underlying principle remains universal: attention and respect. In every culture, when you genuinely look someone in the eye, you communicate honesty. You open the door to deeper interaction. Understanding this can make your communication more effective in diverse settings. It teaches you to be mindful of how you use your gaze to connect rather than alienate. Some individuals worry that maintaining eye contact will make them look aggressive or uncomfortable, but the key is to be natural and relaxed. Eye contact should flow naturally with the rhythm of the conversation. Look long enough to show interest, then break away briefly to avoid staring. This creates a comfortable balance that puts everyone at ease. You want your eyes to invite connection, not cause discomfort. Practicing this balance builds your emotional intelligence and improves your ability to read and respond to others. Improving eye contact is also about understanding your own feelings. If you find yourself looking away quickly, ask why. Is it nervousness, distraction, disinterest? Becoming aware of your reasons helps you overcome barriers. You gain control over how you present yourself to others. This self-awareness builds confidence, making your communication more effective. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Eye contact becomes an effortless part of your presence, a silent yet powerful tool in every conversation. The benefits of maintaining eye contact reach beyond personal conversations. In professional settings, it marks you as confident and trustworthy. Leaders who maintain eye contact command attention and respect. It signals that they are fully engaged and ready to listen as well as lead. This inspires others to follow and trust their direction. Whether you are giving a presentation, negotiating, or coaching, eye contact anchors your message and connects you to your audience. Even in brief interactions like meeting someone new or introducing yourself, eye contact creates a positive impression. Individuals remember those who look them in the eye. It shows you are sincere and interested in them. This opens doors to new opportunities and relationships. You become memorable not because of flashy words, but because of the genuine connection you create with your gaze. The practice of maintaining eye contact is simple yet profound. It requires intention and courage. It requires stepping into the discomfort of being truly seen. But that is where growth happens. That is where you rise above surface-level conversations and connect on a human level. When you maintain eye contact, you communicate with your whole self, not just your voice. You invite others to do the same. This is the foundation for all meaningful communication. Making eye contact is not about dominating a conversation. It is about creating shared space. It's about letting the other individual know you are there with them fully and sincerely. This presence builds trust quickly and deeply. It opens the door for honest exchange. It makes individuals feel valued. That is the heart of communication. That is how you improve every conversation you have. Start paying attention to your eyes in conversations. Notice when you look away too soon or avoid the gaze altogether. Practice holding eye contact just a little longer each time. Watch how it changes the energy. Feel the difference in connection. Over time, this simple practice transforms the way individuals experience you. Your words become more powerful because they are backed by genuine presence. Your relationships grow because they are built on trust. Your confidence rises because you learn to be seen without fear. Chapter 3. Think before you speak to stay clear. Most individuals find themselves in conversations where their words come out rushed, unclear, or even hurtful without meaning to be. That moment when you say something and immediately regret it happens because speaking without thinking robs your message of clarity and impact. Words have power. They shape perceptions, build or break trust, and open or close doors. But too often individuals speak first and think later, creating confusion and misunderstanding. The truth is that clear communication starts with pause. It begins by choosing your words carefully before they leave your mouth. Thinking before you speak is not a sign of weakness or hesitation. It is a sign of strength, respect, and wisdom. Every time you open your mouth, you have a choice. You can fill the silence with noise, or you can fill it with meaning. Speaking clearly means your thoughts are organized in your mind before they reach your lips. When you think first, you reduce mistakes, misinterpretations, and unnecessary conflict. You avoid saying things that can be taken the wrong way or that cause harm. It also allows you to express yourself with confidence because your message is grounded in intention rather than impulse. This is where true influence begins, when individuals trust that what you say is thoughtful and reliable. The reality is that the world is full of rushed conversations and distracted speakers. Individuals interrupt each other, jump to conclusions, and speak to be heard instead of to be understood. This creates noise and confusion everywhere. Many feel frustrated because they are not really connecting. Their message is lost in the chaos of hurried words. The solution lies in slowing down. Taking a moment to gather your thoughts before responding does not mean you are slow or unsure. It means you are deliberate. It means you respect yourself and the individual you are talking to enough to communicate clearly. Thinking before speaking also requires self-awareness. You must be conscious of your emotions and your mental state. When emotions run high, anger, fear, excitement, it becomes even more important to pause. Speaking while emotionally charged often leads to words that are sharp, confusing, or even damaging. Taking a breath, counting to 3, or simply holding silence for a moment gives you time to regain control. This helps you choose words that reflect what you truly want to say, rather than what your emotions want to shout. Clarity in communication often starts with clarity within yourself. This practice is a skill you build intentionally. It begins by catching yourself when you want to jump in and speak immediately. Ask yourself, what do you want to convey? What is your goal in this conversation? What impact do you want your words to have? Once you answer these questions, your words become more focused. You avoid unnecessary tangents or confusing details. Your message becomes easier to follow. Individuals respond better when your communication is clear and concise because they can understand you without effort. Another aspect of thinking before speaking is understanding your audience. Clear communication depends on knowing who you are talking to and what they need to hear. Tailor your message to fit their perspective. This means choosing words and examples they relate to. It means avoiding jargon or complex ideas that cloud your meaning. When you consider your listener first, your message becomes clearer and more effective. This is not about changing your truth, but about delivering it in a way that connects. Many miss this step because they fear silence or pauses. They think if they hesitate, they will lose attention or appear weak. But the opposite is true. Pausing before you speak shows confidence. It shows that you are in control of your words and your message. It creates space for others to absorb what you say. Silence is a powerful tool that enhances clarity. It allows your words to land with more impact instead of getting lost in a flood of speech. Learning to be comfortable with silence helps you become a clearer communicator. Thinking before speaking also helps in difficult conversations. When the stakes are high, the chance of miscommunication grows. The temptation to speak quickly or react emotionally is strong. But this is precisely when you must be most careful. Taking time to choose your words carefully can prevent misunderstandings that escalate conflicts. It helps you express your point without attacking or blaming. This creates room for resolution and respect. The clearer your communication in tough moments, the stronger your relationships become. This discipline requires practice and patience. Start by slowing your speech down. Consciously, put a brief pause before answering questions or sharing your thoughts. Notice how this affects the flow of conversation. Individuals will appreciate your clarity and thoughtfulness. You will also feel more grounded and confident over time. Thinking before you speak becomes natural, and your communication transforms. You gain a reputation for being clear, calm, and wise, someone who others want to listen to. The habit of thinking before speaking extends beyond conversations. It influences how you write emails, give presentations, and handle conflicts. When you form your ideas clearly first, your words have more impact in every form of communication. This leads to greater success, professionally and personally. Clear communication is a cornerstone of leadership and influence. It opens doors and builds bridges that hurried or careless speech cannot. Your words shape your reality. When you learn to think before you speak, you begin to create a life of clarity and purpose. You reduce confusion and frustration for yourself and others. You become a source of calm and direction in chaotic moments. This ability to speak with intention lifts you above the noise and connects you deeply with those around you. It is one of the most valuable communication skills you can develop. Starting this practice today changes your communication immediately. It may feel awkward at first because it requires breaking old habits, but the reward is worth every effort. You will find yourself more respected, more understood, and more influential. Individuals will seek out your words because they know you speak with clarity and thoughtfulness. This transforms how you lead, how you relate, and how you succeed. Clear communication is not accidental. It is the result of deliberate choice. It comes from training your mind to slow down and focus on what matters. When you think before you speak, you own your words. You own your message. You create conversations that matter. That is how you improve your communication skills and rise in every area of life. Chapter 4. Use simple words to express complex ideas. It is a hard truth that many individuals struggle to get their message across because they try to sound smarter than they really are. They fill their sentences with complicated words, confusing phrases, or fancy jargon hoping it will impress. But instead, they create barriers between themselves and their audience. Most of the time, this makes communication less clear, less engaging, and less effective. When ideas are buried under complex language, individuals tune out, misunderstand, or feel overwhelmed. The reality is that the most powerful communicators use simple words to explain the most complicated ideas. Clarity is the foundation of influence. Everyday individuals are bombarded with information. Their minds are busy, distracted, and tired. When you speak or write with simplicity, you give them a gift. You make it easier for them to understand your message and act in it. Simple words are like a clear path through a dense forest. They help ideas move quickly and smoothly from your mind to theirs. When you explain complex concepts in plain language, you invite individuals to listen deeply, rather than struggle to keep up. Using simple words does not mean dumbing down your message or being less intelligent. It means respecting your audience enough to meet them where they are. It means focusing on the heart of the idea without unnecessary clutter. The clearer your communication, the more impact you have. Individuals do not need you to confuse them with fancy vocabulary. They need you to connect with them through straightforward speech. This is what builds trust and understanding. Most of us have experienced the frustration of listening to someone who sounds smart, but leaves us confused. They speak in long, winding sentences that require more effort than we can give. This creates distance. We stop paying attention. Our minds wander to easier things. That is why simplicity matters so much. It helps you hold attention. It helps your ideas stick. It makes your communication accessible to everyone, regardless of background or education. The process of simplifying complex ideas begins with breaking them down into their basic parts. Identify the core message you want to convey. What is the one thing your listener must understand? Once you have that, find the simplest words to express it. Avoid technical terms or words that require explanation. Use everyday language that anyone can grasp. Imagine explaining your idea to a friend or family member who has no background in the topic. If you can do that clearly, you have succeeded. Another important step is to use examples and stories that relate to common experiences. Individuals understand abstract ideas better when they can connect them to something familiar. Simple words combined with relatable examples create a powerful combination. They make your message come alive. They make learning easier and more enjoyable. This approach not only helps others understand you better, but also makes you a more confident speaker because you are grounded in clear, simple explanations. Individuals often overcomplicate their language because they fear being judged as not knowledgeable enough. This fear pushes them to use words that sound important but confuse everyone. Overcoming this requires courage. It means accepting that true intelligence lies in making things simple, not complicated. Great communicators are those who can take the most difficult ideas and make them understandable to a wide audience. This is a skill that separates leaders from the crowd. Simple language also helps avoid misunderstandings. When individuals struggle to grasp what you say, they often fill in gaps with their own assumptions. This leads to confusion and errors. Clear communication leaves little room for misinterpretation because the meaning is obvious. Your ideas become accessible rather than exclusive. This clarity builds stronger relationships because individuals feel included and valued. It is important to remember that simplicity in communication requires practice. We live in a world that values speed and complexity. Breaking the habit of using complicated language takes effort. Start by reviewing what you say or write. Identify words or phrases that might be replaced with simpler alternatives. Challenge yourself to explain key ideas in a sentence or two using everyday language. This exercise sharpens your ability to communicate clearly under pressure. Listening to great communicators can also help you develop this skill. Notice how they use simple words to make complex topics understandable. Pay attention to how they break down ideas and avoid unnecessary details. Emulate this style until it becomes natural. As you practice, you will find your confidence growing. You will discover that simplicity not only improves your communication but also your thinking. Clear expression reflects clear thought. Simplicity also plays a crucial role when communicating and writing. Written words remain longer and are often revisited. Using straightforward language ensures your message is understood, the first time and every time after. This is especially true in emails, reports, and presentations, where clarity is essential. Readers appreciate communication that respects their time and intelligence. Writing simply is a way of showing respect and professionalism. Many successful individuals have mastered the art of simplicity. They understand that complicated language does not equate to success. Instead, they focus on delivering their ideas so that anyone can grasp them. This opens doors, builds influence, and fosters genuine connection. When you simplify your language, you step into the role of a teacher and a leader who guides others with clarity and kindness. There is also an emotional power in using simple words. They feel more authentic and heartfelt. When you strip away complicated phrases, your true voice shines through. Individuals sense this honesty. They respond to it. Your message becomes not just heard but felt. This connection is the true mark of great communication. Do not underestimate the power of simple words to move individuals to action. When your message is clear and easy to understand, it becomes easier to follow. Simple language inspires confidence and motivates change. It breaks down resistance because it speaks directly to the heart. This makes your communication more effective and your influence greater. It is easy to get caught in the trap of overcomplicating your speech or writing, especially when you are passionate or nervous. But taking the time to choose simple words changes everything. It creates space for understanding and builds bridges instead of walls. It makes your ideas accessible and your presence powerful. Start focusing on simplicity today. Notice where you use complex language and challenge yourself to simplify it. Practice explaining difficult concepts in everyday terms. Pay attention to how individuals respond when you speak with clarity. Over time, this habit becomes a natural part of who you are. You become a communicator individuals trust and want to listen to because you make the complicated simple. In a world full of noise and confusion, simplicity is a beacon. It cuts through distraction and connects you directly to your audience. Using simple words to express complex ideas is one of the most important steps toward mastering communication. It is a skill that will serve you in every conversation, every relationship, and every opportunity that comes your way. Chapter 5. Ask open-ended questions to engage others. Many individuals talk without truly connecting because their conversations stay on the surface. They ask questions that can be answered with a simple yes or no. This type of questioning shuts down dialogue instead of opening it up. It leaves little room for others to share their thoughts, feelings, and ideas. The reality is that real communication happens when both individuals feel invited to participate fully. Open-ended questions are the key to creating those deeper, more meaningful connections. These questions encourage others to think, reflect, and express themselves beyond simple facts or confirmations. They turn a conversation into an exchange, not a one-sided speech. Most conversations we have every day are rushed and transactional. We ask quick questions to get information and then move on. This leaves relationships shallow and communication weak. Individuals feel unheard and unseen because the dialogue never dives beneath the surface. Open-ended questions change this dynamic. They say to the other individual that you care about what they think and feel. They invite stories, opinions, and emotions. They create space for true understanding and empathy. Asking open-ended questions requires a shift in mindset. Instead of focusing on what you want to say next, you focus on what the other individual wants to share. This means listening with curiosity rather than judgment. It means valuing the other individual's perspective even if it differs from your own. When you ask a question that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no, you signal that their voice matters. This encourages them to open up and be authentic. Individuals often hesitate to ask open-ended questions because they fear silence or discomfort. They worry that the other individual might not have an answer, or that the conversation will stall. But these pauses are natural and necessary. They give space for thought and reflection. The moment of silence after an open-ended question is an opportunity for deeper insight. Learning to be comfortable with these moments enhances the quality of your conversations. The power of open-ended questions lies in their ability to uncover feelings, motivations, and beliefs. They help reveal what truly matters to individuals. For example, instead of asking, "Did you have a good day?" which invites a yes or no, ask, "What was the best part of your day?" This encourages the individual to share something meaningful and positive. It invites them to live a moment of joy and connection. This simple shift transforms the tone and depth of the conversation. Another benefit of open-ended questions is that they foster problem-solving and creativity. When individuals explain their thoughts and ideas in detail, new perspectives emerge. Solutions that were not obvious before become visible. This is especially valuable in teamwork or leadership situations. Asking the right questions can unlock innovation and cooperation. It shows respect for the contributions of others and encourages collaboration. Effective communication also depends on the way questions are framed. Open-ended questions often begin with words like how, what, why, or tell me about. These starters invite explanation and reflection. They cannot be answered with one word. This forces a deeper level of engagement. The tone of voice matters too. Asking gently and sincerely makes individuals feel safe to share honestly. When questions are asked with genuine interest, walls come down and trust builds. Using open-ended questions regularly trains your mind to think beyond surface-level interactions. It makes you more present in conversations. It shifts your focus from yourself to others. This practice expands your empathy and emotional intelligence. You become a better listener and a more effective communicator. Individuals naturally respond to your interest and openness by sharing more freely. Many relationships suffer because individuals feel disconnected or misunderstood. Open-ended questions are a powerful tool to heal these gaps. They invite others to express their inner world and feel valued. This creates emotional bonds that go beyond words. When individuals feel heard deeply, they trust more and open up more. This strengthens friendships, family ties, and professional relationships alike. In challenging conversations, open-ended questions help de-escalate tension. Instead of reacting or assuming, you encourage dialogue. You invite others to explain their point of view without feeling attacked. This opens a path toward mutual understanding and resolution. Questions that ask for clarification or feelings help calm heated moments and bring clarity to confusion. Mastering the art of asking open-ended questions requires practice. Start by noticing the questions you ask in everyday conversations. Identify those that limit responses and work on changing them. Experiment with different question starters. Observe how individuals respond and what changes in the flow of conversation. This feedback will guide your growth as a communicator. There is also an important balance to maintain. Asking too many questions or asking them too quickly can feel like an interrogation. The key is to be natural and responsive. Blend questions with statements and reflections. Allow the conversation to flow both ways. Open-ended questions are tools to invite dialogue, not to control it. Over time, the habit of asking thoughtful, open-ended questions becomes second nature. It transforms how you connect with individuals. Conversations become richer, more engaging, and more meaningful. This change impacts every area of your life. Whether you're talking with a colleague, a friend, or a stranger, you create moments of genuine connection. The ability to engage others through open-ended questions is a sign of emotional intelligence and leadership. It shows that you value individuals as whole human beings, not just as sources of information. This respect builds influence and trust naturally. When others feel that you care enough to listen deeply, they respond with loyalty and openness. Developing this skill requires more than just learning the right words. It demands a genuine interest in others and a willingness to be present. When your heart is in the conversation, your questions carry power. They become invitations for connection, growth, and understanding. Communication is not just about talking. It is about creating a shared space where ideas and feelings can be exchanged freely. Open-ended questions are the keys that unlock that space. They bring depth, clarity, and warmth to every interaction. This makes your communication not only effective but also meaningful. Choosing to ask open-ended questions changes the energy of your conversations. It transforms routine exchanges into opportunities for discovery and connection. It moves you from speaking at individuals to speaking with individuals. This shift is where true communication and understanding begin. In a world full of distractions and superficial talk, the practice of asking open-ended questions stands out. It shows that you are willing to slow down and invest in real dialogue. This commitment to deeper communication strengthens relationships and creates lasting impact. The effort to engage others more by asking open-ended questions is one of the most valuable investments you can make. It nurtures empathy, trust, and connection. It turns conversations into opportunities for learning and growth. When you master this skill, you become a communicator who inspires, connects, and leads. Chapter 6. Document your voice and analyze for enhancement. Numerous individuals encounter the identical obstacle when attempting to enhance their speaking abilities. They talk and wish they appear articulate and assured, yet they seldom realize how they genuinely present themselves to listeners. This represents a difficult reality that virtually everyone faces. Without observing or listening to ourselves from an external viewpoint, it becomes nearly impossible to comprehend our assets and limitations in verbal expression. The internal voice we hear and the voice others perceive can differ significantly. Most individuals minimize how they sound or how their content resonates. This explains why documenting yourself speaking and analyzing it stands as one of the most valuable methods for development. When someone listens to their own voice replayed, it frequently comes as a shock. The pitch, the inflection, the rhythm, and even their word pronunciation can seem foreign. This encounter can feel awkward, but it remains vital. It casts a clear spotlight on areas requiring enhancement. For example, many talk too rapidly without awareness, hurrying through phrases so the content becomes unclear. Others might possess a flat voice that struggles to capture the listener's attention. Some may employ hesitation sounds like or so regularly, which detract from the content. These patterns remain undetected until listened to in a playback. Recording yourself compels you to become an impartial evaluator. It eliminates the prejudice of your own thinking and emotions during speaking. This viewpoint proves invaluable. Rather than assuming, you observe and listen to precisely what others encounter. This direct feedback forms the basis for achieving genuine advancement. Enhancement cannot occur in darkness. It demands illumination, and recordings supply that understanding. The initial phase in applying this technique involves locating a peaceful area where you can speak distinctly without disturbance. This could be a space at home, a workplace, or even a secluded area somewhere. Utilize a basic recording apparatus. Even a mobile phone functions adequately. The material can be anything: a brief address, a personal account, or a demonstration. The essential element is speaking naturally, as if conversing with someone before you. This genuine approach reveals your actual speaking patterns. Once the recording is completed, replay it with complete focus. Listen not merely to the words but to their delivery method. Pay careful attention to inflection, loudness, and rhythm. Notice whether you sound confident or uncertain. Observe any distracting patterns like muttering, unclear articulation, or excessive breaks. This thorough listening enables you to pinpoint exactly what requires work. Taking notes during the evaluation process proves important. Document specific areas needing enhancement and strengths to develop. This helps structure your efforts and monitor advancement over time. It also supplies motivation because you can observe concrete changes after each recording session. Many individuals who embrace this approach find it fosters discipline and dedication to improved speaking. One of the most significant advantages of recording yourself is developing self-knowledge. Speaking involves not just what gets said, but how it gets delivered. Self-knowledge represents the capacity to observe your own actions and modify them accordingly. When you hear your voice on a recording, you become conscious of subtle signals that affect how your content gets received. For instance, a minor hesitation might weaken your confidence. Recognizing this enables you to practice speaking more fluently and decisively. Another area to emphasize when reviewing your recordings involves emotional delivery. Speaking becomes powerful when feelings get expressed genuinely. If your voice sounds monotone or disinterested, listeners will lose focus. Recording reveals whether your excitement, intensity, or worry comes across. Adjusting the vitality and emotion in your speech makes your content more captivating and unforgettable. Practicing with recordings also helps diminish nervousness about public speaking or challenging conversations. Many individuals worry about how they sound or fear making errors. Listening to yourself repeatedly creates familiarity and ease with your voice. It develops a sense of mastery rather than anxiety. This preparation enhances confidence and authority when speaking before others. A helpful method involves recording the identical content multiple times, experimenting with various approaches. Try changing your pace, inflection, and loudness. Notice which versions sound the most articulate and captivating. This experimentation process deepens your grasp of successful speaking techniques. It enables you to uncover your genuine voice while polishing your delivery. Sharing your recordings with a reliable friend or advisor can provide another dimension of feedback. Sometimes others detect things you overlook. Constructive input helps refine your abilities even more. This outside viewpoint balances your self-evaluation and directs focus enhancement. Consistency proves essential when using recording as a method for speaking development. One recording will not revolutionize your abilities immediately. It demands regular practice and evaluation. Establish a routine to record and listen to yourself weekly or daily when possible. This consistent effort produces lasting transformation. Over time, your voice becomes more confident, articulate, and engaging. Your capacity to express concepts improves and your authority grows stronger. Recording yourself also helps enhance nonverbal expression. When you watch video recordings, you can examine your posture, facial movements, and hand motions. These visual signals support or undermine your spoken content. Awareness of these components helps you adjust to appear more welcoming and confident. Nonverbal signals play a crucial role in how others view you, so refining them remains essential. This approach is practical and attainable. It doesn't demand costly equipment or official instruction. Anyone with a phone can begin recording immediately. The challenge lies in committing to honest assessment and continuous enhancement. The discomfort of hearing yourself initially will diminish as you concentrate on development. The outcomes will justify the effort. Ultimately, recording yourself speaking closes the distance between how you believe you communicate and how you actually communicate. It converts assumptions into evidence and guesses into strategies. This understanding speeds up your progress in developing strong speaking abilities. When you know precisely what to address, you utilize your time effectively and accomplish results more quickly. This practice not only enhances your words, but your complete presence. It influences how you appear in conversations, gatherings, and demonstrations. Your voice becomes an instrument for impact, rather than a source of concern. With each recording, you move closer to becoming the confident speaker you desire to be. The path to mastering speaking begins with self-examination. The readiness to record and listen to yourself demonstrates commitment and bravery. It shows you are serious about development and prepared to confront your weaknesses directly. This honest effort establishes the foundation for powerful, genuine speaking that motivates and connects. Taking command of your speaking through recording represents one of the most successful strategies for personal and professional achievement. It develops confidence, clarity, and authority. It sharpens your ability to engage, convince, and guide. This simple yet profound practice changes how you express yourself and how others receive your content. Chapter 7. Enhance physical expression to reinforce your content. Many individuals find it difficult to convey their message effectively because their physical expression doesn't align with their words. It's a widespread reality that too frequently people express one thing while their stance, movements, and facial displays communicate a different story. This mismatch creates uncertainty and diminishes the effectiveness of what they wish to communicate. Physical expression isn't a footnote in speaking. It's a compelling element that can either reinforce your content or sabotage it completely. People detect unspoken cues in every exchange, often more than the actual words spoken. When someone slouches or avoids visual contact, the listener perceives uncertainty or lack of interest, even if the speaker's words are confident and upbeat. Conversely, standing upright, using intentional hand movements, and smiling at suitable moments adds trustworthiness and friendliness to your content. The reality is that physical expression frequently conveys emotions and purposes more successfully than words. Your physical presence can either welcome connection or create distance. Enhancing physical expression begins with becoming conscious of how your body acts while you speak. Many people remain unaware that they might be folding their arms, shifting weight anxiously, or playing with their hands. These minor patterns signal unease or resistance. Becoming aware of these behaviors is the initial step toward modification. Awareness enables you to control your nonverbal signals. One of the easiest and most successful adjustments involves maintaining an accessible stance. This means keeping your arms comfortable and unfolded, shoulders positioned back, but not rigid, and standing or sitting straight. An accessible stance displays confidence and friendliness. It encourages others to listen and participate because it demonstrates you are attentive and ready to connect. Closed or tense stances create obstacles, whether purposefully or not, and can halt communication. Hand movements represent another essential part of physical expression that reinforces your content. Using your hands to highlight points makes your words more memorable. Movement help create a mental image for the listener. They can emphasize important concepts and add vitality to your speech. But it's important that movements feel natural and meaningful. Overdoing it or using repetitive, meaningless actions distracts rather than assists. Facial displays are a window into your emotions and perspectives. When your face matches your content, people sense honesty and genuineness. Smiling when sharing positive news or showing concern with your eyes when discussing a serious matter draws people in. It makes your speaking feel human and relatable. A blank or inappropriate expression can confuse or alienate your audience. Visual contact is a vital component of physical expression that cannot be ignored. It creates trust and establishes an immediate connection between speaker and listener. When you look someone in the eyes, you demonstrate respect and confidence. Avoiding visual contact can make you appear uncertain or deceptive, even if your words suggest otherwise. Good visual contact is consistent but natural, not staring or looking away too frequently. The rhythm of your movements also matters. Moving too rapidly or suddenly can indicate nervousness or impatience. Slow, intentional movements and calm breathing communicate control and thoughtfulness. When your body moves in sync with your voice, your entire content feels stronger and more persuasive. Practicing before a mirror or recording your physical expression can reveal areas to enhance. Watching yourself helps you notice distracting patterns and refine your posture and movements. You can experiment with different ways of standing and moving to discover what feels genuine and successful. Self-practice develops muscle memory so that positive physical expression becomes automatic. Matching your physical expression to your spoken words is essential for clear communication. When the two coordinate, your content becomes consistent and credible. For example, if you say you're excited about an idea, but your arms are crossed and your face is tense, the listener will sense the contradiction and question your sincerity. When your body reinforces your speech, you increase your influence and ability to connect. Physical expression also plays a role in managing your own emotions during conversations. When you notice yourself becoming tense or slouching, you can consciously adjust to stand taller and breathe deeply. These changes help reduce stress and boost confidence. Controlling your physical state helps control your mental state, making you more composed and effective. Another important aspect is being sensitive to the physical expression of others. Communication is a two-way process. Observing how the listener reacts to your words gives clues about their feelings and understanding. If someone looks confused or uncomfortable, you can adjust your content or tone. Reading nonverbal nonverbal signals improves your ability to respond and connect meaningfully. Cultural differences affect physical expression, so it's important to be aware of how movements and expressions may be interpreted in different settings. What is friendly in one culture might be rude in another. Being respectful and observant helps avoid misunderstandings and builds rapport across diverse groups. Enhancing physical expression isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about improving your natural presence so that it supports your true content. Authenticity combined with confident, accessible physical expression creates powerful communication that touches hearts and minds. People respond to honesty expressed through words and actions. Physical expression influences the energy in a room. When you carry yourself with confidence and accessibility, you raise the energy and invite engagement. Your listeners become more attentive and responsive. This energy fuels better conversations and stronger relationships. You create an environment where ideas flow and connections deepen. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice and improve your physical expression. Small adjustments made consistently will build up over time. You will find yourself feeling more comfortable speaking in groups, leading meetings, and having one-on-one talks. Your presence becomes a tool that commands respect and attention. The journey to better communication requires effort, but changing your physical expression is one of the quickest ways to see results. It affects how you feel inside and how others perceive you outside. By investing time in mastering this skill, you lay the foundation for more meaningful interactions and greater personal success. Your body speaks louder than words in every moment you communicate. Taking charge of your physical presence empowers your voice and sharpens your content. The confidence you build through improved physical expression will open doors and create opportunities in every area of life. It's a skill worth developing with focus and persistence. When your body tells the same story as your words, you become a compelling communicator. Your ideas land clearly, your intentions shine through, and your relationships grow stronger. This harmony between what you say and how you carry yourself is the secret to lasting influence and respect. It transforms ordinary conversations into powerful moments of connection. Chapter 8. Practice vocal reading daily to develop verbal precision. It's a difficult reality that many individuals struggle to articulate their thoughts clearly when speaking because they haven't practiced the fundamental skill of vocal reading. Speaking effectively doesn't come naturally to everyone. Most people think communication is just about knowing what to express. The truth is that how you express it matters just as much as what you express. The precision of your voice, your articulation, and your timing all influence how your content is received. When your words are garbled or unclear, listeners lose interest or misinterpret your meaning. The frustration that results from this is genuine and widespread. Vocal reading every day is a straightforward but powerful method to build verbal precision. It trains your mouth and voice to work together smoothly. It strengthens your ability to form sounds and speak with accuracy. Vocal reading also sharpens your attention to sentence rhythm and helps you become comfortable with different types of language. Many people avoid reading out loud because it feels strange or embarrassing. Yet this practice is one of the best ways to gain confidence and improve speaking skills. When you read aloud, your brain works differently than when you read silently. You hear the words spoken and experience their rhythm and tone. This feedback helps you notice stumbling points or unclear phrases. You can then correct these issues and learn to speak more smoothly. Vocal reading forces you to slow down and pronounce words completely. This intentional practice improves your articulation and reduces mumbling. Selecting a variety of reading materials is essential. Books, articles, speeches, and even poetry offer different sentences, structures, and vocabulary. This variety challenges your vocal muscles and broadens your language skills. As you tackle more challenging material, you build mental flexibility and verbal agility. Over time, your ability to speak clearly and confidently in everyday conversations improves. In addition to precision, vocal reading enhances your vocal delivery. Your voice becomes more dynamic as you learn to adjust pitch and volume. This makes your speech more interesting and engaging. A monotonous voice loses attention quickly. When your voice carries emotion and energy, people are drawn in and more likely to listen closely. Reading stories or speeches aloud lets you practice conveying feelings through your tone. Another benefit is that daily vocal reading builds endurance in your voice. Speaking for extended periods can be tiring if your vocal muscles are weak. Regular practice conditions your voice to stay strong without strain. This is especially important for public speaking or professional settings, where you need to communicate for longer stretches. A strong voice signals confidence and authority, which commands respect. Vocal reading also helps improve your memory and focus. When you vocalize sentences, you engage multiple senses: visual, auditory, and vocal. This multi-sensory engagement strengthens neural connections related to language and comprehension. It trains your brain to process information more efficiently and recall it better when needed. Improved memory and focus support better communication because you can express ideas clearly and stay on track in conversations. Many who practice vocal reading find they become more comfortable with their natural voice. People often try to hide or change their voice because of insecurity. Vocal reading regularly fosters acceptance and confidence in how you sound. This self-acceptance is crucial for authentic communication. When you speak with genuine voice and clear words, your content becomes more powerful and believable. Recording yourself while reading aloud is a helpful step for improvement. Listening back allows you to catch unclear words, awkward pauses, or flat tones. It gives you a chance to make conscious adjustments and track progress over time. Self-review builds awareness of how you sound and what changes produce better clarity and engagement. Vocal reading can be integrated into daily routines easily. Whether it's a few minutes in the morning, during breaks, or before bedtime, consistency matters more than duration. Committing to this simple habit produces noticeable improvements. It takes away the anxiety of speaking because you are regularly exercising the muscles and skills needed to speak clearly. Many professionals, including actors, broadcasters, and leaders, credit vocal reading as a foundational tool for effective communication. They understand that clear verbal expression requires constant practice. It's not a skill you develop once and forget. Instead, it needs nurturing and reinforcement. The good news is that vocal reading doesn't require special equipment or a classroom. Anyone can start today. People who read aloud regularly notice they become better listeners too. When you practice forming words and sentences aloud, you become more attentive to the speech of others. This awareness enhances your ability to respond thoughtfully and with clarity. Strong communication is not just about speaking, but about understanding and reacting appropriately. In moments of nervousness or stress, clear speech can falter. Having a habit of vocal reading builds a reservoir of calm and control over your voice. You learn to regulate your breathing and pace, which prevents rushed or clipped speech. This control over your voice increases your presence and makes you appear more confident. Choosing material that interests you increases motivation to keep this habit. It could be a favorite novel, a motivational article, or even a speech by someone you admire. When you enjoy what you read aloud, the practice feels less like work and more like personal growth. Over time, you will notice your voice carrying more authority and your words landing with precision. Strong verbal precision opens doors in every area of life. It helps you succeed in interviews, presentations, meetings, and casual conversations. People are drawn to clear speakers because they are easier to understand and trust. Improving your voice precision through vocal reading is an investment that pays dividends in your relationships and career. As you develop this skill, you will find it easier to organize your thoughts and deliver them with confidence. Your ability to communicate effectively will increase naturally. The simple act of reading aloud daily will build a foundation for lifelong improvement in how you speak. It transforms communication from a struggle into an opportunity to inspire, persuade, and connect deeply with others. Chapter 9. Build your word knowledge. Through regular reading. A challenging reality most people encounter is feeling constrained by their own vocabulary when trying to articulate important thoughts or concepts. It occurs constantly. You know what you want to express, but the appropriate words seem just beyond reach. This struggle frustrates and discourages many from speaking with confidence. The truth is that our ability to communicate is closely tied to the words we have available. A limited vocabulary restricts your options and leaves your content dull and unconvincing. Without a broad range of words, your thoughts can become trapped, making conversations feel superficial or repetitive. Building your word knowledge isn't about memorizing impressive words just to sound intelligent. It's about giving yourself the tools to express concepts clearly, precisely, and with the appropriate emotion. When you have more words to choose from, you can customize your content to the situation and the listener. A rich vocabulary enables you to connect more deeply because you can find words that resonate and paint a clearer picture in the minds of others. Regular reading is one of the most effective and accessible ways to grow your vocabulary over time. Reading consistently exposes you to new words naturally. Whether it's novels, newspapers, magazines, or online articles, each new sentence has the potential to introduce you to expressions and language you might not encounter in daily speech. When you meet unfamiliar words in context, it becomes easier to understand their meaning and how to use them. Unlike trying to learn words from lists, reading presents words alive and active within real concepts, making them easier to remember. The habit of reading should be more than a casual glance or skimming. It requires attention and curiosity. Taking the time to notice words that are unfamiliar or interesting helps you commit them to memory. Writing down new words and their meanings creates a personalized vocabulary bank you can return to and practice using. This process strengthens your language skills and gradually adds richness to your communication. Another crucial aspect of vocabulary expansion is understanding how words function differently depending on context. The same word can carry different feelings or levels of formality. Reading across various genres and topics broadens your awareness of these nuances. It helps you learn only new words, but also the right time and place to use them. This knowledge prevents awkward or confusing communication and increases your ability to adapt your language to any situation. A larger vocabulary also supports better thinking. When you can name your thoughts clearly, you can organize concepts more effectively and solve problems with more precision. Many people don't realize how much their limited vocabulary can hold back their reasoning. Regular reading strengthens mental clarity and sharpens your ability to articulate complex thoughts simply and directly. Vocabulary isn't just about nouns and adjectives. Verbs and adverbs are just as important because they bring action and detail to your sentences. As you expand your vocabulary, you gain tools to describe not only objects but also processes, emotions, and nuances. This makes your speech and writing more vivid and engaging. When your words evoke clear images and feelings, listeners are more likely to stay interested and be moved by your content. The pace of your vocabulary growth depends on how often and how deeply you read. Daily reading sessions, even if short, build momentum and reinforce learning. Over time, you will notice your speech becomes more varied and interesting without forcing it. New words will come to mind naturally when you talk or write. This effortless use of a broad vocabulary signals mastery and confidence. It's important to remember that building vocabulary is a lifelong journey. No one ever reaches a point where there are no new words to learn. The language around us changes constantly, and every new book or conversation can introduce fresh expressions. This means there's always room to improve and refine your communication skills. Using new words in conversation or writing is key to making them part of your active vocabulary. It's not enough to recognize a word, you must practice it. Finding opportunities to speak or write with your expanded vocabulary builds confidence and helps you internalize the words over time. This practice improves your ability to think quickly and express yourself clearly in any situation. People who read widely and consistently tend to be more curious and open-minded. This openness fuels personal growth and makes communication more meaningful. When you read about different cultures, concepts, and experiences, you gain insight that enriches your conversations and relationships. Your expanded vocabulary becomes a bridge that connects you to others on a deeper level. An expanded vocabulary is a powerful tool for leadership and influence. Leaders who communicate well inspire trust and respect. They use words that motivate action and create a vision others want to follow. When your vocabulary grows, you develop the ability to inspire with clarity and purpose. Your words become more than sounds. They become catalysts for change. It's natural to feel overwhelmed when trying to improve vocabulary. Many people think it requires years of study or complicated techniques. The reality is simpler. Regular reading combined with genuine interest in language produces steady progress. The key is to start with manageable steps and build the habit. Even a few new words each week add up over months and years. Surrounding yourself with written material that challenges you is vital. Avoid only reading things that feel easy or repetitive. Push yourself to explore different authors, styles, and subjects. This variety will prevent boredom and accelerate vocabulary growth. The effort you invest in reading today pays off in clearer and more effective communication tomorrow. Another benefit of expanding vocabulary through reading is improved listening skills. When you hear others use words you recognize and understand, you can respond more thoughtfully and keep the conversation flowing. This creates stronger connections and shows respect for the speaker's ideas. A broad vocabulary makes dialogue more rewarding and less stressful. You will also find that expanding your vocabulary makes public speaking easier. When you stand before a group, having a rich word bank helps you avoid hesitation and filler words. You can select the perfect word for every moment, keeping your audience engaged and impressed. This fluency signals confidence and preparation. In summary, the process of expanding vocabulary through regular reading is one of the most effective ways to improve your overall communication skills. It's a step toward clearer thinking, stronger relationships, and greater influence. The commitment to this habit transforms how you speak and listen. The power of your words grows with every page you read and every new expression you embrace. Chapter 10. Request input. Regularly to refine. Speaking patterns. Most people underestimate how much they can enhance their speaking simply by asking others for honest input. It's a difficult truth that many get stuck communicating the same way for years without realizing their patterns might be limiting them. They believe their approach is adequate, or that others will simply understand them as they are. But real growth comes from stepping outside your own perspective and inviting others to tell you what works and what doesn't. Input is a mirror reflecting your speaking blind spots that you cannot see on your own. Without it, improvement becomes guesswork and often slow or non-existent. Requesting input requires humility and courage. It means admitting that your speaking isn't perfect and that you're willing to learn and adapt. Many people avoid input because they fear criticism or believe it will be negative. Yet input, when welcomed and used wisely, is a powerful tool for growth. It provides specific information about how others perceive your content, your tone, your clarity, and your presence. This knowledge allows you to make intentional adjustments that refine your skills and increase your influence. To get the most from input, it must come from trusted sources who observe your speaking in real situations. This can be colleagues, friends, mentors, or family members who see how you speak and interact daily. These people can provide honest opinions about your strengths and weaknesses. When asking for input, it's important to be specific about what you want to improve. Rather than a general question like, "How do I communicate?" ask targeted questions such as, "Do I come across as clear when I explain concepts?" Or, "How do you feel when I speak in meetings?" Specific questions encourage detailed responses that guide your development. It's equally important to create an environment where the input giver feels safe to be truthful. People are more likely to give helpful information when they know you appreciate their honesty and aren't defensive. Showing gratitude for input, even if it stings, reinforces that you're serious about growing over time. This openness builds trust and encourages ongoing communication that benefits both parties. Listening carefully to input without interrupting or explaining yourself is another critical skill. Often when we hear criticism, the natural response is to defend or justify. This reaction blocks learning. Instead, absorb the input fully and ask clarifying questions if needed. Understanding the specific behaviors or words that need adjustment is the first step to improvement. Sometimes input reveals patterns you were unaware of, such as speaking too quickly, using filler words, or failing to engage your audience emotionally. Once you identify these, you can develop a focused plan to change them. Input should be viewed as a continuous cycle, not a one-time event. Regularly checking in with others about your speaking helps track progress and prevent slipping back into old patterns. This ongoing process sharpens your awareness and makes improvement natural. When input becomes part of your routine, it transforms from a chore into a valuable learning habit that fuels success. Recording your conversations or presentations can complement input from others. Reviewing your own recordings allows you to hear your tone, pace, and word choices objectively. This practice uncovers patterns and habits that may not be obvious in the moment. When combined with external input, self-review gives a fuller picture of where to focus your efforts. It's also useful to reflect on input carefully and decide which advice fits your style and goals. Not all input will apply or resonate. Some suggestions might clash with your personality or speaking objectives. The key is to filter input thoughtfully and take action on what genuinely improves your connection with others. This selective process ensures your speaking remains authentic while growing stronger. Sometimes requesting input reveals deeper emotional blocks that interfere with speaking. For example, fear of judgment, insecurity, or past negative experiences can create resistance to change. Recognizing these emotional barriers is part of the journey. Overcoming them requires patience and sometimes support from mentors or coaches. The willingness to face these challenges head-on differentiates those who improve from those who stay stuck. Another advantage of regularly requesting input is the opportunity to build stronger relationships. When you invite others to help you grow, it demonstrates respect and trust. This openness encourages others to communicate more honestly with you as well. It creates a positive cycle where input flows both ways, enriching mutual understanding and cooperation. For professionals, input on speaking skills often impacts career growth. Leaders who listen to how they're perceived and adjust accordingly tend to inspire better teams and gain more influence. Clear and confident speakers earn respect and open doors to new opportunities. In contrast, those who ignore input may limit their advancement or cause misunderstandings that damage relationships. The habit of requesting input applies to every form of speaking. Whether you're talking one-on-one, leading a meeting, writing an email, or presenting to a group, there's always room to improve. Asking questions about clarity, tone, engagement, and impact helps you refine every interaction. It also sharpens your ability to give constructive input to others, a vital skill in any team or leadership role. Some people hesitate to request input because they worry it will highlight too many flaws or make them feel inadequate. Yet input should never be about criticism for its own sake. It's about learning and growth. With the right mindset, every piece of input becomes an opportunity to get better and stronger. Embracing this mindset shifts your relationship with speaking from a source of stress to a source of empowerment. You will find that as you act on input, your confidence grows. Speaking becomes easier and more natural. People respond more positively to your messages because you're clearer, more engaging, and more attuned to their needs. This progress creates motivation to keep improving. The cycle of requesting input, learning, and applying changes builds momentum that accelerates your development faster than practicing alone. Input also uncovers blind spots in nonverbal communication, such as posture, facial expressions, and voice tone. These subtle cues influence how your content is received. Others can help you notice if you seem distracted, unapproachable, or unsure. Awareness of these signals gives you the chance to align your body language with your words, creating a consistent and powerful presence. Asking for input regularly sets an example for others to follow. When you model openness to learning, you inspire people around you to do the same. This creates a culture of continuous improvement that benefits everyone. Whether in a family, workplace, or social group, speaking improves collectively when input is welcomed and acted upon. Developing the discipline to request input requires commitment. It's easy to avoid because it can be uncomfortable, but the cost of ignoring input is stagnation. The people who excel at speaking are those who see input as a gift, not a threat. They use it to refine their skills and deepen their connections. Their progress is visible in every conversation, presentation, and relationship they build.